My name is Jerry Gieswetter, and my intended major is mechanical engineering.
Hi, I'm Jakob, my intended major is engineering design.
And I'm Evan Haas, and my major is mechanical engineering as well.
And our product is the Dry Rider. The problem that we came up with was that many people around the world have sweaty hands while they're writing. And originally we came up with this as just something we thought was normal for everybody, and we thought we could fix, but as we did more research, you'll see that there's actually a medical condition called hyperhydrosis.
And the video is not working. Oh, there it is. But you may be wondering, where are you going with this? But my dad, he sweats a ton, and it's kind of weird. But I asked him, I was like, why do you sweat so much? He's like, I have a medical condition, it's called hyperhydrosis. So of course, I looked more into it, and basically it's just uncomfortable, excessive sweating. And the only treatment for it currently on the market is surgery, which costs anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, and it can have many serious side effects, such as loss of muscle control and lazy eyes. Because what they do is they go in and they mess with the nerves in your hand that send signals to your brain that tell your sweat glands to reduce sweat. You can play the video.
I tried, it's not working. We'll be back to the demo.
Okay, well, yeah, you can see that this guy's hands are dripping sweat, and this is usually triggered by stress or nervousness. And we're going to go ahead now and demonstrate for you what exactly the Dry Rider does.
Spray his hands twice to show the sweating, and then he's going to try to write on the paper.
You probably can't see in the back because it's just moisture, but see up here, just from me writing my name, you can see all the moisture from my hand all on the paper. Now you may think, this is really not normal, like how would this ever happen to you, but there's actually, people are suffering from this and have to deal with this on their daily life. It's not just something that happens every once in a while that they can't even control. So if you can imagine you're in a business meeting or you're at work, and I'm ready for an interview, and this happens to you, it could be very embarrassing or just not fun to deal with. So our solution was to make this glove. We're going to show you just how much it actually improves your ability to write. So I'm going to write the same thing. And with the same amount of moisture on my hand, you can see that there's actually no moisture on the paper.
So hyperhydrosis by the numbers. So an estimated 3% of the entire global population are affected by this, which is about 211 million people. And there are also about 4 to 5 million sweat glands on the human body, and a normal person can sweat up to 4 liters per hour.
So this is our survey results. One of the main questions we asked people was if they ever got sweaty while they were writing. And you can see that 65% of the people that took our survey said yes. And then we asked them if they would ever buy a product that would help them cope with their own way of sweating, other than deodorants and things like that. And 74% of people said that they would. We asked them how much they'd be willing to spend. You can see that they range from about $5 to $10 up to $100. So some people, this is a very serious problem that they were very interested in looking to fix, or they really see it as a hindrance in their daily life.
So basically, for the materials that we used, we took the same type of fabric that you would use for a book cover, and we went to the store, we bought Velcro and a piece of suede, which acts as a grip on the thumb, and none of us knew how to sew, so putting it together was pretty difficult. But we used this sewing machine and tried our best to put it all together, and I think it turned out pretty well. And as you can see, it has the adjustable Velcro wrist strap, so people with different sized wrists can have it fit snugly on their hand. The material that it's made out of is very form-fitting, and the thumb has an added grip because since your index finger is not covered by the glove, the added grip makes up for the lack of grip on your index finger. And the grip is also on the front and back of your thumb, so both right and left-handed people can use our product.
So then for the construction, like you said, with all the materials, we had to get all the materials, and then we had to test the different materials for the sweating through, the water going through, and also other tests like smudging, the water would smudge. So we put it all together, like he said, we sewed it together, and then we got our final design.
Altogether, we only spent about $4 on all the materials, and we estimated that we could probably make about 4 of our products with the materials we bought. So our estimated cost of production is only about $1. So we're looking to be able to sell these for about $7, and we think it's a pretty reasonable cost and a very cheap price of production. So this is our original prototype. We made this by hand. It was extremely form-fitting and extremely lightweight. However, it's not very durable and had no added grip. So that's sort of where we came up with our modifications for the grip on the fingers, the wrist strap for the longer-lasting glove, and then also the strap between the index finger to keep it tighter to your hand, more comfortable, but more ergonomic.
So for the testing, we had 2 tests. The first test obviously was to see if the water would soak through onto the paper, and we found out it didn't. And so we had 6 milliliters of water that you could put on your hand so it wouldn't soak through. Another test, we tested temperature. So temperature of vigorously writing before and after, without the glove and with the glove. And we found that with the glove, it was less or the same as it would be if you weren't wearing anything.
So now you're probably wondering who would buy this. Well, basically anybody who writes could benefit from this. And it narrows down to people with hyperhydrosis, which is 211 people worldwide. So it's a very, very large population of people who could benefit from this. Also a side market, people in warmer climates who may or may not have hyperhydrosis, but it's just warm, warmer, causing them to sweat more. They could also benefit from this. So basically anybody, such as students, authors, office workers, anybody who has to write could benefit from this, and it could be a very serious problem to some people, very big benefit.
I'd also like to have a big thank you to Mr. Stow for helping us with his knowledge of materials and construction, and to Ms. Z for always being there for us.
If anybody has any questions or comments? Yes.
Wouldn't it be uncomfortable to write with it?
Actually, no, if you wanted to try it on for yourself.
Just go around.
Take the long
Question I had, you mentioned 6 milliliters. Is that that's what you tested with?
Yeah,
is that typical for hyperhydrosis? Is that the type? Or do you know what that?
Really, it's ranges because it just depends on the day.
Is that within the range?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the disease or disorder, it can range anywhere from just like a slight clamminess to your hand to what the video was that didn't work, a complete just dripping of the hand. So really, there's a wide range, but the majority of patients aren't going to be that severe.
Right. So
Where
you're
it's
6
so
milliliters like half.
Yeah, it's pretty average.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
No, it's an interesting idea. It really is. But I was wondering in this day and time with the amount of writing that occurs, whether it be marketable. And I was also curious about your selection of fabrics, whether you've gotten into the detail you've gotten into that. With so many drive-in type products around, and how you selected what you did.
When we thought about that, they're still doing a fair amount of handwritten essays, things of that nature. And then for the materials, really there was no competition on the market, such as other gloves or anything like that. So we didn't feel like that we were overstepping on something that anybody else had already done. This is sort of a groundbreaking product for its field and nothing else that serves the same purpose.
I'd like to add to that. The closest thing that we could find was something that was designed for left-handed people who write, how their hand drags over their writing and it gets the side of their hand. That's the closest thing we could find.
A couple things on the materials, and I think your design is valid. I think your assumptions are valid. In terms of compliances for materials, do you know whether this material is flammable?
Actually, it's not a flammable material.
We tested it. Instead of it catching on fire, it kind of acts, it like melts a little bit, like hardens. It doesn't burn.
So therefore it wouldn't be like machine washable, it would be hand washable, things like that.
And did you test how much moisture the material can saturate before it becomes non-functional?
Yeah, actually we tested it. That was the test that we did here. We actually did as a
6 milliliters.
Oh, that's what the 6 milliliters.
6 milliliters was like how much it could take before it started to soak through. And once it started to soak through, it wasn't as if like you weren't wearing it. It was kind of like just a reduction of the amount of water that got through onto the paper.
And from a business point of view, again, I think your assumptions are correct. What do you feature as the next step in terms of, let's say you form a company and you're ready to go. What would you, from your research, envision would be your next step to begin marketing it, or production, or more testing, or what would that be?
I think the next step for us would be to see if we could improve our product, make it more, versatile. So more people could use it, and also to see if our materials we could use something. We didn't say it was cheap, but just having to buy, something else synthetic that we could use that maybe would work better as well that we could buy.
Or maybe like possibly integrate some sort of cooling mechanism where if your hand is getting hot, it can sense it and cool it down. Any other questions? Yes.
If you had more time with the product, do you think that you could make it like different colors?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually when we were making it, we had like 5 different, there's green. We had an orange one that we ended up not making. We just went with the black one just because it was